Welcome to another edition of the Tiger Men's Lacrosse Report. I'm your host, Spiro Marikas, along with the head coach of the Tigers, Sean Nadlin. And coach, the Tigers, for the second week in a row, had to go up to Long Island. This time, the results much better as you beat the Hofstra Pride 10-8 in a real back-and-forth ball game that was tight after Hofstra scored the first 4 goals of that first quarter, when you immediately called a timeout. What did you say to your team? Obviously, it worked because you came right back and scored 4 straight. Yeah,
we weren't the best version of ourselves at that point. Just didn't open up well. A couple mistakes and miscues. So, they came in and I told them immediately, just like, forget what's happened to this point. Just forget about the past. Part of the quarter, and just focus on what's important now. I needed them to kind of shift their heads, not worry about giving up 4 goals and not playing well. Just what are we doing going forward? What can we do to put ourselves in a better spot? So talked about what's important now. Talking about the face-off, staying poised at the X, working hard to get the ball. When we get the ball in the offensive end, they were playing zone again. So being patient but aggressive at the same time, working for good shots and burying it. And then defensively, just being more on the same page, working together, communicating better. We weren't in sync too much, but I wanted them to forget about what had happened to that point and just get focused on what they can do going forward.
Well, obviously it worked because you gave up those 4 goals in the first 6-7 minutes of the first quarter and only gave up 4 the entire rest of the game. You look at that game, and I mentioned to you in the pregame show, it really was like a playoff game for both of you guys because you got to finish in the top 4 to make the conference tournament, and a loss there really would put you behind the 8 ball.
Yeah, we were going up there, looking to win a game and play well, and doing that. And we were able to win the game. We played decent. I don't think we played our best, to this point in the season, but played well enough to earn a win. Anytime you can leave Long Island with a win in your pocket, you're in good shape. But yeah, we knew, our guys knew that we had an opportunity in front of us. We were looking to control what we could, and that's how we played and how we performed, and they did, enough to earn the win.
Evan Long did not have his best game against Stony Brook last week. Great game this week, wins the CAA Defensive Player of the Week. He's had some incredible games this year. Yes,
he's definitely played well. Again, another strong performance to put us in position, one of the big parts, why we were able to win that game. They had some pretty nice looks, especially in transition, that we didn't do a good job of getting back in the hole, looking to play more, better defense in our transition sets, and Evan came up big with a few saves, in transition to help kind of keep that score tight or give us that little bit of oomph that we needed to get back in it. So I'm excited for him and want to see him continue to play that way.
And then another Rookie of the Week in the conference as Ryan Schreier this week, another hat trick. That's his 3rd of the year, and his shot percentage is incredible at this point of the season. Talk about Ryan a little bit.
He's been, we injected him into the lineup going against Fairfield, and then, he's just been productive. He's a guy that works hard off the ball. He's not going to have the ball in his stick for long. I don't know if you remember former football coach here, Gordy Combs, his son Bugs, off-ball attackman who can just catch it and finish it. Ryan's very similar. He floats around the crease, around the edges of the crease, and, guys find him and get the ball into him. He does a good job of putting it on cage and in good spots. It's close to the goalie, so it's hard for them to track because it's such a quick catch and release shot. But he also busts his butt in the ride, and he's been a big help for us.
I remember Gordy Combs having to console Bugs after the Tigers beat them in the quarterfinals to go to the Final Four in 2001. I do remember that.
Oh, yeah.
Also, something I never thought I would say, Nick DeMeo, 6 assists in the game on Saturday.
How about that?
And only 3 shots.
Yeah. So, really, really happy for our offense that, they kind of did what they needed to do in different roles. Again, Nick being more of a feeder, with Ryan working more inside, Joaquin working more on the perimeter a little bit at times as well from the attack standpoint. The midfielders doing a good job moving the ball through X where Nick was operating, trying to put their defense in different different positions. Also, they were running zone, so that put our personnel in some different spots than normal. And Nick did a great job. He stayed patient, had his eyes up. I think the offense is, with Ryan only playing in his third game, they're still learning how to kind of play around him, but also see where he is and look for him as well. So I think it's, a product of, everything kind of coming together, and working on the offensive end.
All right, busy week coming up. Thursday night, Tigers take on Denver, I believe 10th in the country in this week's polls, and then Hampton on Saturday in a conference game. First off, probably the final appearance in Baltimore of Coach Bill Tierney, who was a mentor of yours. You coached with him at Princeton. Tell us a little bit about Bill Tierney and what he's meant to the game of lacrosse through the years.
I mean, you look at his involvement and ultimately his impact over 40 plus years, as being a college coach. It's just immeasurable, really. It really, just with starting out at RIT and what he did there, then going as an assistant to Hopkins, then going to Princeton and building that into the powerhouse that it was, and now continues to be off of what he's done, and then going out to Denver and bringing a national championship out there. He's won 7 national championships, so it's not just the success of his programs and the national championships, it's the impact of the lives of everybody that's been involved in lacrosse over 40 years that can feel his impact, because he's involved from a USA Lacrosse standpoint, from a coaches association standpoint. He gives countless hours to the youth in the areas that he's been involved with to continue to just grow the game and to be impactful and to help the game get better along the way. So the game is in such a better place with him having been in it, throughout his career. It's going to continue to grow, because he's stepping away from coaching at the collegiate level, but he's going to continue to stay involved, and it'll be really neat to kind of see his impact continue to grow.
As you would expect, the Pioneers very good on the defensive side. They come in at 5-4. They've lost a couple of tough, close games to Duke and to Yale. When the game begins, I guess you kind of forget about Coach Tierney over there on the other side and just worry about your team.
Yeah, I mean that's pretty much every game. It doesn't matter who's on the other side. You're focusing on helping your players, making sure you're organized. They're prepared at that point, but trying to manage the game as best you can and keep an edge in the game. So yeah, it's Coach T. You're in for a battle. Just because his team's going to be prepared. They're this Denver team's very good, very balanced. You talked about their defense being strong. They're strong at the X. High-powered offense as well. So they got really good balance across. So we're going to be in for a test to go along with the best college mind in the game.
And then a quick turnaround. Saturday, you take on Hampton. They haven't won a game yet in the CAA. They'll be desperate to try to get that victory. For you guys, it's another win that if you pull it off on Saturday, helps you to secure one of those top 4 spots in the conference.
Yeah, obviously, we're focusing on Thursday, looking to continue to prepare for Denver and be ready to go for them. We know we got 2 games in 3 days, so we're going to have that quick turnaround on Friday, get organized, recognize what Hampton is going to bring to the field and be prepared for that, and then be able to step on the field ready to go.
What goes behind you trying to it's kind of odd to have a game midweek this late in the season.
Yeah, with the conference realignments and the CAA lacrosse adding 3 teams, we lost a couple of our non-conference games. We lost the Duke game that we couldn't get back, and the Denver game was a weekend that got filled up this year by a CAA game. So Coach T and I still wanted to play it, so we were able to find this date. They're coming east. They're going to play St. John's on Saturday when we play Hampton, so they were already coming east to play a game. It ended up working well for both teams to fit it in. They were looking to add a game, and then we wanted to kind of stay around 14 games as well, and it just worked out well.
All right, so probably your final chance to see Bill Tierney live on the sidelines this Thursday night, 7 o'clock at Johnny Unitas Stadium. Of Glenn Smith and I will have all the action for you on TowsonTigers.com. Then Glenn and I come back with you again Saturday at noon when the Tigers take on Hampton at 12 o'clock at the U. For the head coach of the Tigers, Sean Nadlin, I'm Spiro Marikas. Thanks for tuning in. We'll talk to you again next week.